Welcome to the Becoming. It's Hugh, and this is my channel, Becoming Hugh. I'm going to be talking today about a confrontation I had last night with my mama, questioning me about some of the contents that were in my glove compartment, like some of my documents and my paperwork. And I was just honestly very genuinely confused as to why you're questioning me about what's in my glove compartment. Last time I checked, this is my vehicle, my glove compartment. So I was just confused from jump. And personally, like, my mom asks me a lot of questions, and I don't necessarily like that because I'm grown and I don't feel like I need to be questioned all the time about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, the way I'm doing something, as if I'm a child. I'm not a child. And instead of just remaining calm and being like, okay, like, she asked me a question about my glove compartment, like, it's not that serious, and moving on, I got defensive. Like, well, why are you worried about what's in my glove compartment? Like, we ended up getting into a confrontation for no reason. It was not that serious at the end of the day. And so that's why I wanted to just make this video, because like, we got to learn how to pick our battles. Certain people have shown us time and time again, especially if it's like your parents, your siblings, people who you've been around day in and day out most of your life. You know how these people operate. Unless you are seeing that they're making a valiant effort to change and grow and heal and become somebody new, they're more than likely the same person and more than likely going to slip into the same old patterns, the same old habits, the same old triggers, and so on and so forth. And so if you are somebody that's actively healing, growing, nurturing your inner child on a spiritual journey, on a self-love journey, wherever you are in your chapter of your journey of life, you can't let the fact that other people who aren't doing the work keep forcing you to be in a place where you're slipping back into somebody that you no longer identify with and no longer want to be. You cannot let people who have not been doing the work make you go backwards in your progress. Because sometimes when people aren't making the progress that they want and they see that you are, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, they're going to trigger you and you're going to trigger them. The thing is, regardless of the triggers, it's our job to respond differently instead of reacting. That's something that I've had a problem with, because most of the adults in my life, a whole lot of people reacting to anything and everything, and so I learned how to be very reactive, especially when it comes to people questioning me and making me feel like, what I have to say or what I've experienced or this or that is invalid. I'm immediately going to get defensive and defend myself, because that's not something that I've really ever experienced with people in my life defending me. And so I'm for sure finna defend me. I ain't playing. Harmony is the one that was defensive. Harmony is the one that's going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with her mama over some dumb shit. Hugh don't have time for that. Hugh's not going to do that. Hugh doesn't want to do that. Hugh's not going to entertain it. Hugh knows that silence is golden. Hugh values what she has to say, so she's not going to keep repeating herself, because 9 times out of 10, if I'm repeating myself, it's because the person I'm repeating it to was not trying to hear me the first time. Crows for confirmation. So it's really about being able to observe what's happening, stop, and make a different choice. And that takes time. It takes time. You got to put your reps in. But, this is a video for me to hold myself accountable and hopefully reach other people who are going through similar things. Like, we got to take control of our emotions. We got to take control of how we want to feel. If somebody in our life is causing us to feel a type of way that we don't want to feel, if somebody in our life is causing us something that we've noticed, like, okay, well, every time I'm around this person, I'm starting to feel anxious, or I'm starting to get a little defensive, I'm starting to get a little attitude, I'm starting to feel a little aggressive. Those are notes, those are observations that you got to take down and write down for yourself, so that you could remember that and then be able to make a different choice the next time. Those people are not self-aware and don't have any accountability. So they're not thinking about how they're wrong in this situation. They're not thinking about how they could respond better, respond differently. Harmony Listen, that being self-aware was the last thing I was thinking about. I was a victim. He was not a victim. At the end of the day, we're all people just trying to, either better ourselves, or even if you're not trying to better yourself, you still have to be with other people. You still have to interact with people on a daily basis. And learning how to respond instead of react is something that's going to help your life elevate, help my life elevate, and give us the highest possible type of lifestyle we want to have. Reacting don't help nobody. Reacting is automatic. We're not light switches. We have a choice. And we just have to remember that at the end of the day. So with that being said, thank you all for joining me. And to all yous becoming alongside me, keep becoming.